They called it a fire.
Attention! Dispatch to all units!
Just a fire. I've put out 1,000 fires. Apartment blocks, factories, car accidents on the highway at 3 a.m. I know what fire looks like, what it smells like, what it does to your lungs. That wasn't fire. I grew up in Pripyat, born there, raised there. My father worked at the plant. Half the city worked at the plant. They told us it was the safest technology in the world. Soviet engineering, the pride of the nation. We believed them. Why wouldn't we? We were 20, 25 years old. We didn't know how to not believe them. I became a firefighter because I wanted to do something real, something you could see with your hands. You go in, you put it out, you come home. Simple. That's what I thought this job was. The call came at 1:47 in the morning, April 26th. Fire at the plant. All units respond. That's it. That's all they said. No details. No warnings. No question. By the way, the reactor has exploded. Just press. Fire at the plant. Go. We didn't even question it. You don't question it. You get dressed, you get on the truck, you go. 3 actions, no thought required. That was the design. That's the job. When we arrived, I remember thinking the sky looked wrong. Not wrong like storm clouds, not wrong like fog. Wrong like something that had no name yet. There was a glow coming from the reactor 4. Not orange, not red, not any color fire is supposed to be. Something between violet and white. White. Like someone had cut a hole in the night and left the light on behind it. I nudged Vasil. You see that? He looked. Said nothing, got off the truck. That was Vasil. He never wasted words on things he couldn't explain. He just moved toward them. We were trained to move fast, so we moved fast. You don't stop to think about what color the sky is. You don't train. That's what they trained out of us, the pause. The pause that asks, wait, what is this actually? We didn't have that pause anymore. Maybe that's why we were good at the job. Maybe that's why we died doing it. My commander, Sergeant Petrenko, he stood in front of the building, looked at it for maybe 5 seconds. Then he said, "Roof fire, multiple points. Get the hoses up." That's it. 5 seconds of looking at a building where the reactor had just exploded. And the assessment was roof fire. I'm not blaming him. He didn't know. None of us knew. We were firefighters, not physicists. Nobody taught us what a blown reactor looks like from the outside at 2 in the morning. Nobody taught us because nobody thought we'd ever need to know. That was the assumption that killed us. So we went up. The roof, Sant. I'd been on roofs before, hundreds of times. You know what a burning roof feels like under your boots? The heat. The give of weakened material. This was different. The surface was wrong, uneven, and there were pieces everywhere, black chunks, some the size of my fist, some bigger, scattered like someone had dropped a load of coal from a height. I kicked one. It skittered across the roof. Vasil picked one up, turned it over in his hands. Heavy, he said. Those were pieces of the reactor core, graphite blocks blown out by the explosion, scattered across the roof like gravel. Vasil held one in his bare hands for maybe 30 seconds. He was dead in 12 days. There was a taste in my mouth. It came on maybe 20 minutes after we got up there. Metal, sharp and clean, like biting down on a coin. I spat. It came back. Mikhailo looked over. "You taste that?" "Metal," I said. He nodded. "Me too." We looked at each other for a second. Then we kept working. That taste is ionizing radiation, interacting with the saliva glands. I know that now. At the time, I thought maybe it was the smoke. You explain things with what you know. We didn't know enough. And then there was the light. I don't know how to describe this properly. I've tried many times. Above there was a faint blue glow. Almost gentle, like a swimming pool. I stopped working for a moment and just looked at it. Beautiful. That's the word I keep coming back to, and I hate that it's the right word. It was beautiful. That light is called Cherenkov radiation. You can only see it when the radiation levels are catastrophically high, lethal within direct exposure. I stood there and looked at it and thought, what a strange fire. The dosimeters. Every man on that roof carried one. Small device, clips to your belt, measures radiation, gives you a number. Mine said 3.6, Mikhailos said 3.6, Vasil said 3.6, everyone said 3.6. Those dosimeters had a maximum reading of 3.6. That's all they could measure. The actual rating level on that roof was somewhere between 1,000 and 20,000 Röntgen per hour. But the dosimeter said 3.6, so we stayed. I found out later, in the hospital, that there were other dosimeters, ones that could measure higher. They were locked in a safe. We worked for 3 hours on that roof, 3 hours of breathing air thick with radioactive particles. By 5 a.m. the fires were out. Petrenko said, "Go home, get some rest." I remember walking to the truck. I thought, that was a bad one. But we got it. I thought about going fishing later. By noon, I was vomiting. Not sick feeling, the kind that comes from somewhere deeper. Like something inside had made a decision and wasn't asking permission. It didn't pass. They came that evening, men in white coats, a list of names. Mine was on it. "Come with us, bring nothing." I asked, "For how long?" The man looked at his clipboard. "Not long." Pripyat Hospital first. About 30 of us. The nurses tried very hard to look calm. That's how you know something is wrong. When people try too hard to look calm. They washed us with milk, old Soviet remedy. 3 hours later, the burns appeared. From the inside out. Red patches spreading across the skin. Not from fire, from radiation. The body cooking itself from the cellular level. She said, "You're gonna be fine." She said it the way people say things they don't believe. Then they put us on a plane to Moscow. I looked out the window, Ukraine below, flat and green. I didn't know I was looking at my country for the last time. Hospital number 6. Everyone wore protective suits to come near us. The plastic wasn't protecting us from the outside world. It was protecting the outside world from us. The first week I wrote to my mother, told her I was in Moscow for observation, nothing serious. I almost believed it, but I could walk, I could talk, I could think. I held on to that. The second week, then the skin, discoloration, spreading. My gums started, my vision blurred some mornings. I stopped writing letters. Leonid was 2 beds from mine. 3 years we'd worked together. He had a daughter, 8 months old. Every morning he'd look at her photograph before anything else. One morning the photograph was gone. The bed was empty, made with fresh sheets, like he'd never been there. Vasil died on a Thursday. They'd brought the newspapers that morning. I didn't read mine. I asked the doctor, did they know? Did they know what was on that roof? Then he said, I can't answer that. Small things in Pripyat in early spring, mud and cold water and something green. I used to fish there on Sundays. My mother's kitchen, the radio she kept on all day, the fishing rod in the corner of my hallway. Nobody knew to go get it. Pripyat had been evacuated, the whole city, all 50,000 people. They were told it was temporary. It wasn't temporary. I thought, at least they got out. At least the children got out. It was the one thing that felt like it might be okay. The last thing I remember clearly is a Tuesday morning. The light through the window, that particular gray-white of Moscow spring. I could hear the hospital going on around me. I put out the fire. We got there, we did the job. Whatever else, that happened. That was real. 3.6. Always 3.6. That was the highest it could read. They put us in zinc coffins, sealed, welded shut, because our bodies were still radioactive. They poured concrete over the top. You can't visit the grave. There's nothing to visit. Just a slab. The dosimeter said 3.6. It always said 3.6. That was the highest it could read. They knew that. We didn't.